For 20 years, I, Elias Thorne, 52, lived a fundamental lie. My marriage to Serena was perfect, our family unshakable. I believed her implicitly, every day. Tonight, that delusion shattered. It began the moment Julian's sleek electric sedan pulled into my driveway, wine and flowers in hand. Seeing his arm around Serena through our living room window, leading her upstairs, was the irreversible trigger. My world imploded. What did I discover? Not a compliance review, but the unmistakable sounds from our bedroom. Julian, in my bathrobe. Serena, wearing only her grandmother's pendant. My life, torn apart in minutes. She stood, clutching the sheet, her face a mask of caught surprise, utterly unaware how her secret would shatter everything. Before I tell you what happened next, if you enjoy stories about justice and family boundaries, take a second to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely connect with this story. Where are you watching from right now? And what time is it there? Drop a comment and let me know. The next morning, I put my plan into motion. First, I called my assistant, Riley, and told him I was taking a few days off for a family emergency. Then, I called Serena at work. "Hey, honey," I said, forcing my voice to sound normal. "I got a last-minute contract in Portland. Big money, custom network integration for some tech startup. I'll be gone until Friday." "Oh," she said, and I could hear the excitement she was trying to hide. That's great, Elias. The extra money will be nice." "Yeah, I'm leaving this afternoon. Kiss Maya for me when she gets home from school." "Of course. Drive safe." I hung up and immediately called Mrs. Albright, our 70-year-old neighbor who knew everyone's business and wasn't shy about sharing it. "Mrs. Albright, it's Elias Thorne from next door." "Oh, hello dear. How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you. Listen, I'm going out of town for a few days on business, and I was wondering if you could keep an eye on the house. Maybe watch for any unusual activity." "Of course, dear. You know, I'm always watching out for the neighborhood." "Perfect." Mrs. Albright had better neighborhood surveillance skills than any commercial security system. I spent the rest of the day at Leo's Cafe, nursing a coffee and waiting. At 4 o'clock, my phone buzzed with a text from Serena. "Julian is coming over for dinner tonight to discuss the compliance review. Don't wait up when you get to Portland." The compliance review, right. At 6 p.m., I parked 3 blocks away from my house and walked back through the wooded greenbelt behind our property. I had a perfect view of our bedroom window from the old oak tree in our backyard, the same tree where Maya's tire swing hung, where we'd carved our initials 20 years ago when we were young and stupid and in love. At 7:15, Julian's sleek electric sedan pulled into my driveway. I watched him walk to my front door carrying a bottle of wine and a bouquet of flowers. My flowers, for my wife, in my house. I pulled out my phone and called the house. Serena answered on the second ring. "Hello. Hey, babe. Just wanted to let you know I made it to Portland safely." "Oh, that's good. I was just finishing up some work with Julian." "Julian is there at our house?" "Yes, we're going over the compliance files. You know how complicated that audit is, right? Well, don't work too hard. I love you." "Love you, too. Bye." She hung up quickly. I could see them through the living room window. Julian's hand already on her back, leading her toward the stairs. I waited 30 minutes, then made my move. I still had my house key, obviously. I crept through the front door as quietly as possible, hearing sounds from upstairs that made my stomach turn. I tiptoed to the hall closet and grabbed my old server rack wrench, the heavy-duty tool I'd used for years, the one Serena always complained about me keeping. Then I called Serena's parents. "Richard, it's Elias. I need you and Eleanor to come to the house right now." "What's wrong?" "She's here with him right now." "We'll be right there." I waited on the front porch. The Caldwells arrived 10 minutes later, Richard's face grim. Eleanor clutching her designer purse like a weapon. "Are you sure about this, Elias?" Eleanor whispered. "Listen," I said. We stood there in the cool evening air, and the sounds from our bedroom window were unmistakable. "Dear God," Eleanor breathed. I unlocked the front door. "After you." We climbed the stairs together. Three people united in righteous anger. The bedroom door was closed but not locked. I turned the handle slowly and pushed it open. They were so absorbed in each other that they didn't notice us at first. Julian was wearing my bathrobe, my favorite robe, the one Serena gave me for Christmas 3 years ago. Serena was wearing nothing but the diamond pendant her grandmother had left her. Well, I said loudly. "The compliance review is certainly more hands-on than I expected." Serena screamed and grabbed for the sheet. Julian jumped up so fast he tripped over his own feet and crashed into my dresser, sending my collection of vintage tech badges scattering across the floor. "Elias," Serena gasped. "What are you? You're supposed to be in Portland." "Surprise," I said. "I brought some guests." That's when she saw her parents standing behind me. Eleanor was staring at her daughter with a mixture of horror and disgust. Richard was staring at Julian with pure rage. "Mom, Dad, what are you doing here?" "We came to see what kind of woman we raised," Richard said, his voice shaking with fury. "Apparently, we failed." Julian was frantically trying to put on his pants, hopping around on one foot like an idiot. "Mr. Caldwell, Mrs. Caldwell, this isn't what it looks like. It looks like you're screwing my daughter in her husband's bed while wearing his bathrobe," Richard said. "What exactly should it look like?" "I can explain," Serena said, clutching the sheet to her chest. "Please do," I said, leaning against the door frame with my arms crossed. "I'm fascinated to hear how this is all a big misunderstanding." She opened her mouth, then closed it again. What was she going to say? That she tripped and fell on Julian's. "You disgust me," Eleanor said quietly. "Both of you. In this house, in this bed where my granddaughter was conceived." That hit home. Serena started crying, but they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of someone who'd been caught and was feeling sorry for herself. "Everyone just needs to calm down," Julian said, finally getting his pants on. "We can work this out like adults." "Adults," I laughed. "Adults don't sneak around behind their spouse's back. Adults don't screw their colleague's wife in his own bed. Adults don't lie about compliance reviews when they're really working under my wife." "Elias, please," Serena said, "can we talk about this privately?" "No," I said. "Privacy is what got us into this mess. From now on, everything is public." Julian tried to push past me toward the door, but I blocked his path. "Where do you think you're going, champ?" "I'm leaving. This is between you and your wife." "Oh, no. You're very much part of this conversation. Sit down. I don't have to listen to this." I picked up my server rack wrench from where I'd leaned it against the wall. I said, "Sit down." Julian sat on the edge of my bed, still wearing my robe over his hastily pulled-on pants. The irony wasn't lost on me. "Here's what's going to happen," I said, addressing both of them. "First, you're going to tell Serena's parents exactly how long this has been going on." "Elias, please," Serena whispered. "How long?" Richard demanded. Serena looked at the floor. 6 months. 6 months, I repeated. 6 months of compliance reviews and team strategy sessions and late-night audits. 6 months of lying to my face every single day. "It wasn't supposed to happen," Julian said. "It just developed naturally." "Naturally," Eleanor said. "There's nothing natural about adultery, young man. Mrs. Caldwell, you don't understand the pressure we're under at work. Serena and I, we connect on a professional level that, shut up, I said. Just shut up with your corporate buzzwords. You wanted to screw my wife, so you did. At least have the balls to admit it. Richard stepped forward. Serena, look at me. She raised her eyes to meet her father's gaze. Your mother and I raised you better than this. We taught you about commitment, about honor, about keeping your word. What happened to those values? I don't know, she whispered. I felt trapped, like my life was just routine. Julian made me feel alive again. Alive, I repeated. Well, let's see how alive you feel when everyone at Caldwell Medical Solutions sees the network logs and security footage. Julian went pale. What network logs? What security footage? I smiled. The cameras I installed 3 weeks ago. They've been recording everything. Every kiss, every touch, every time you've been in my house screwing my wife. High definition, perfect audio quality. And the network logs? They show every access from our home IP during your little rendezvous. You can't do that, Serena said. That's illegal. Actually, it's not. It's my house. And I have every right to install security cameras and monitor my own network. I also have every right to share that footage and those logs with whoever I choose. Elias, please, she said, tears streaming down her face. Now, think about Maya. Think about our daughter. I am thinking about Maya. I'm thinking about how she deserves better than a mother who lies and cheats and brings strange men into our home. I'm not a strange man, Julian protested. I've been to your barbecues, your Christmas parties. Right. You have been to our parties where you ate my food, drank my beer, and planned how to seduce my wife. That actually makes it worse, doesn't it? Eleanor was staring at her daughter with disgust. How could you do this to your family, to your marriage vows? You don't understand what it's like being married to him, Serena said, gesturing at me. He's always working, always covered in circuit dust, never wants to go anywhere or do anything exciting. So, you decided to do someone exciting instead, I said. Problem solved. Richard shook his head. We're leaving. Eleanor, come on. Wait, I said. There's more. I pulled out my tablet and opened the photo gallery. Julian, you might want to see this. I showed him a picture I'd taken of his electric sedan in our driveway with a clear shot of his license plate. I've been documenting everything. Dates, times, how long you stay, what you bring with you. I've got 3 weeks of evidence showing a pattern of adultery and unauthorized presence. What do you want? Julian asked. I want you to understand that your life as you know it is over. Your girlfriend, Jessica, is going to find out. Your colleagues are going to find out. Your marathon buddies are going to find out. Everyone is going to know that Julian Vance is the kind of man who seduces married women. You bastard, he said. I'm the bastard. I'm not the one who's been screwing someone else's wife for 6 months. Serena stood up, wrapping the sheet around herself. Fine. You want a divorce? You'll get a divorce. But I'm not going to let you destroy my life over this. Your life. I laughed. Lady, you destroyed your own life the minute you brought him into our bed. The court will see this as harassment, she said. You can't just humiliate us publicly and expect to get away with it. Actually, I can. Everything I plan to do is perfectly legal. Sharing security footage from my own home, legal. Telling people the truth about what I witnessed, legal. Making sure everyone knows what kind of people you really are. Completely legal. Julian stood up. I'm leaving now. Sure, I said, stepping aside. But Julian, you might want to check your car before you drive home. He pushed past me and stomped down the stairs. A minute later, we heard him screaming from the driveway. What did you do? Serena asked. Nothing illegal, I said. But you might want to look out the window. She went to the window and gasped. I had spray-painted "Home Wrecker" across Julian's windshield in bright red letters. You can't do that. I just did. And that's just the beginning. Richard put his arm around his wife. Eleanor, we're going home. Serena, don't bother calling us until you've figured out how to apologize for this disgrace. After her parents left, Serena turned to me with fury in her eyes. You think you're so clever, don't you? You think you've won something here. I think I've exposed the truth. Everything else is just consequences. I'll destroy you in the divorce. I'll take half of everything, including your precious home office. Good luck with that. See, adultery is still grounds for fault-based divorce in this state. And I've got evidence, lots and lots of evidence. She stared at me for a long moment, and I could see her calculating, trying to figure out her next move. Maya's going to hate you for this, she said finally. Maya's going to hate the person who broke up our family. That would be you, in case you're confused. I turned and walked toward the door. Where are you going? She called after me. Out. This is still my house for now, but I can't stand the smell. I drove straight to the Bite and Brew where Leo was waiting with a coffee and a sympathetic ear. How'd it go? He asked. Better than expected. Her parents saw everything. Julian is probably still trying to scrape paint off his windshield. Good for you, man. That took balls. Leo, I need another favor. Name it. I need you to accidentally let it slip to a few people about what happened. You know, just casual conversation. Leo grinned. Accidentally? I can do accidentally. The Bite and Brew was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone else's business. By closing time, half the neighborhood would know that Serena Thorne was cheating on her husband with some corporate pretty boy. I was 3 coffees in when my phone started buzzing with text messages. The first was from Mrs. Albright. Dear, I saw that young man leaving your house in quite a hurry. Is everything all right? I texted back, everything's fine now, Mrs. Albright. Thanks for keeping an eye on things. The second was from Julian. You're going to pay for what you did to my car. I replied, send me the repair bill. I'll frame it. The third was from Serena. We need to talk. I ignored that one. The fourth was from my daughter, Maya. Dad, Mom is crying and won't tell me what's wrong. Where are you? That one sobered me up fast. I called Maya immediately. Hey, sweetheart. Dad, what's going on? Mom's been locked in your bedroom for 2 hours and there's red paint all over the driveway. I'll be home in 20 minutes. We need to have a talk. Is everything okay? No, honey. Everything is definitely not okay. But it will be. I drove home dreading the conversation I was about to have. Maya was smart, mature for her age, but she was still my little girl. How do you tell your 16-year-old daughter that her mother is a cheating liar? Maya was waiting for me in the living room when I walked in. Serena was nowhere to be seen. Dad, you're scaring me. What happened? I sat down next to her on the couch. Maya, your mom and I are getting divorced. Her face crumpled. Why? What did you do? I didn't do anything, sweetheart. Your mother. Your mother has been seeing another man. What do you mean, seeing another man? I mean, she's been having an affair for 6 months. Maya stared at me, processing this information. Are you sure? I have video evidence. And network logs. Oh my God. She put her head in her hands. Who is it? Someone from her work. It doesn't matter who. It does matter. I want to know who destroyed our family. I sighed. His name is Julian Vance. You've met him at company parties. The guy with the fancy electric car. The one who always talks about his workout routine. That's him. Maya was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I hate her. Don't say that. She's still your mother. She's a liar and a cheater. How could she do this to us? I don't know, honey. People make bad choices sometimes. Bad choices, Dad. This isn't a bad choice. This is evil. Before I could respond, Serena appeared at the top of the stairs. Maya, can we talk? No, Maya said firmly. I don't want to talk to you. Please, sweetheart, let me explain. Explain what? How you've been lying to us for 6 months. How you brought your boyfriend into our house. Serena came down the stairs slowly. It's complicated, Maya. You don't understand adult relationships. I understand cheating, Maya shot back. I understand lying. I understand that you destroyed our family because you were bored. That's not fair. Fair. Maya stood up, her voice rising. You want to talk about fair? Is it fair that Dad has to find out his wife is cheating by installing security cameras? Is it fair that I have to find out my mother is a liar? Maya, please. No. I'm going to stay with Grandma and Grandpa Caldwell. I can't even look at you right now. Maya ran upstairs to pack a bag. Serena turned to me with desperation in her eyes. Elias, please help me fix this. Fix this? Serena, you can't fix this. You broke something that can't be repaired. It was a mistake. A stupid, terrible mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk at the store. This was a choice. 6 months of choices. I'll end it with Julian. I'll do whatever you want. It's too late for that. Way too late. Maya came back downstairs with her overnight bag. I called Grandma. She's coming to pick me up. Maya, please don't go, Serena begged. We can work through this as a family. We're not a family anymore, Maya said coldly. You made sure of that. 20 minutes later, Eleanor Caldwell arrived to collect her granddaughter. She didn't even acknowledge Serena's presence. After they left, the house felt empty and cold. Serena and I stood in our living room like strangers. So what now? She asked. Now you pack a bag and find somewhere else to stay. I'll file for divorce tomorrow. This is my house, too. Not anymore. See, I did some research today. In a fault-based divorce due to adultery, the innocent spouse gets to keep the marital home, especially when there's video evidence of the adultery taking place in said home. Her face went white. You can't kick me out. I'm not kicking you out. I'm asking you to leave voluntarily. If you refuse, I'll have you removed. You bastard. I'm the bastard. Really? After everything you've done, I'm the bad guy here. She went upstairs to pack. While she was gone, I called my lawyer, Mark Henderson, and left a message explaining the situation. When Serena came back down with her suitcase, I was waiting by the front door. Where will you go? I asked. Julian's apartment, I guess. Good. You two deserve each other. She paused at the door. Elias, I really am sorry. No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. After she left, I poured myself a large whiskey and sat in my home office, surrounded by the servers and components I built with my own hands. Everything in my life that mattered, my marriage, my family, my future, had been destroyed by my wife's selfishness. But I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. The next morning, I woke up with a hangover and a plan. I called Mark Henderson, my lawyer, first thing. Elias, I got your message. Jesus Christ, what a mess. Mark, I want to destroy them both legally. What are my options? Well, you've got grounds for a fault-based divorce, which means you'll likely get the house, majority custody of Maya, and favorable asset division. As for Julian, if he's been in your house without permission, that could be trespassing. But Elias, I have to ask, is there anything else? Any other leverage? Actually, Mark, there might be. Serena's work laptop is still here. I had access to it for routine maintenance, and I saw some unusual network traffic, encrypted files being moved off-site to servers not associated with Caldwell Medical Solutions' official infrastructure. Given their compliance review discussions, it raised a red flag. I think there's more than just an affair going on at her company. Mark paused. Elias, if you have evidence of corporate malfeasance, especially from a public-facing entity like Caldwell Medical Solutions, that could change everything. It could give us significant leverage, not just in the divorce, but potentially against the Caldwells themselves. I'll look deeper. I'm an IT guy, remember? I know how to find things. My next call, after diving into Serena's laptop and cross-referencing with some of the network logs I'd captured, was to Patricia Walsh, the regional director at Caldwell Medical Solutions. I'd met Patricia several times at company functions. She was a no-nonsense woman who ran a tight ship. Patricia, this is Elias Thorne, Serena's husband. Oh, hello Elias. How are you? I've been better. I'm calling because I thought you should know that Serena and Julian Vance have been having an affair for the past 6 months. And it's not just a personal matter. There was a long pause. That's a very serious accusation, Elias. I have video evidence, security footage from my home showing them together on multiple occasions during work hours. But more importantly, I've uncovered evidence of highly questionable financial transactions and data transfers from Caldwell Medical Solutions' internal network, routed through shell companies and offshore accounts. It looks like a systematic pattern of insurance fraud and inflated billing, potentially involving tens of millions. And Serena, as a senior HR manager, appears to be complicit. I see. Can you send me that evidence? Both the personal and the financial? I'll email it to you this afternoon. It's extensive. Elias, I have to ask. Are you sure you want to go down this road? Once I receive that evidence, I'll have to take action, and the implications for Caldwell Medical Solutions, and the Caldwell family, could be catastrophic. Patricia, they've been using company time and resources to conduct their affair. Julian has been at my house during work hours. They've been lying to their colleagues about their relationship. And the financial fraud, that's just plain criminal. Yes, I'm sure I want you to see the evidence. I understand. Send me what you have. After I hung up, I spent 2 hours editing the security footage into a comprehensive presentation. I included timestamps showing Julian's electric sedan in my driveway during work hours, audio of him and Serena discussing work matters while in bed together, and clear shots of both their faces so there could be no doubt about their identities. Then, I integrated the financial data, encrypted transfer logs, IP addresses pointing to offshore entities, and suspicious billing codes I'd managed to decrypt from Serena's laptop. It painted a damning picture of both personal and professional misconduct. I sent the file to Patricia with a detailed timeline and a list of dates when the affair had taken place during business hours, alongside the financial irregularities. Then I called Mrs. Albright. Mrs. Albright, it's Elias Thorne. Oh, hello dear. How are you holding up? I'm managing. Mrs. Albright, I wanted to thank you for keeping an eye on the house. Your vigilance helped me discover that my wife was having an affair. And, well, it turns out that was just the tip of the iceberg with some very serious issues at Caldwell Medical Solutions. Oh my goodness. I knew something was going on. That electric car was there so often during the day. But serious issues? What kind of issues, dear? Let's just say it involves a lot more than just a personal indiscretion. Lydia and I are getting divorced, and there's a much larger investigation underway into the Caldwell's business practices. Of course, dear. Is there anything I can do to help? Actually, if anyone asks about what you saw, or what you hear about Caldwell Medical Solutions, please feel free to tell them the truth. Mrs. Albright was better than a newspaper for spreading information. By evening, everyone in the neighborhood, and likely beyond, would know about Serena's affair and the looming scandal at Caldwell Medical Solutions. My phone rang around noon. It was Julian. "You son of a bitch," he said without preamble. "Good morning to you, too, Julian. Patricia Walsh just called me into her office. She's seen your little video presentation. And she mentioned some financial irregularities she's investigating. How'd that go?" "We're both suspended pending investigation. If they find evidence of misconduct, we could be fired. And if they find evidence of fraud, we could be facing criminal charges. You're destroying our careers over a personal matter, and now you're dragging the Caldwells into a financial scandal they won't recover from." "Personal matter? Julian, you made it a professional matter when you started using company time to conduct your affair. You made it my business when you started doing it in my house. And the financial fraud? That's something I stumbled upon because of your carelessness. I didn't create it, I just exposed it. Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to screw married women during work hours and help orchestrate multi-million-dollar scams." Serena's devastated. Good. She should be devastated. She should be ashamed and humiliated and sorry for what she's done. We never meant for this to happen. Bullshit, Julian. You meant for every bit of it to happen. You just didn't mean to get caught. He hung up on me. An hour later, Serena called. "Elias, please. You have to call Patricia Walsh and tell her you made a mistake. They're going to fire us both. And my parents, they're going to lose everything if this fraud comes out. Is that what you want? For me to lose my job? For my family to be ruined? I didn't make a mistake. You did. And your parents made their own choices. Lydia, I don't care what happens to your job. I don't care what happens to Julian's job. And frankly, your parents' financial dealings are their own responsibility. I care about the fact that you destroyed our marriage and humiliated our daughter. I care about the fact that you were complicit in a massive fraud. I'll do anything. I'll go to counseling. I'll cut off all contact with Julian. I'll help you clean up the financial mess. It's too late. It's not too late. We can fix this." "No, we can't. And even if we could, I wouldn't want to. You showed me who you really are, Serena. You're not the woman I married. You're not the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. And you're certainly not someone I can trust with my daughter, knowing the depths of your deception." She was crying now. "Please, Elias. I love you." "No, you don't. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. If you loved our family, you wouldn't have participated in a scheme that could destroy it all." I hung up and turned off my phone. That evening, Maya called me from her grandparents' house. "Dad, Mom came over here crying and begging Grandma and Grandpa to talk to you." "What did they say?" "Grandpa told her she made her bed and now she has to lie in it. Grandma wouldn't even let her in the house, especially after Patricia Walsh called them earlier about the investigation." "How are you doing, sweetheart?" "I'm angry. I'm sad, but I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. And for finding out about all the other stuff. Grandma and Grandpa are freaking out." "Thanks, kiddo. That means a lot." "Dad, are you going to be okay?" "Yeah, Maya. I'm going to be fine. We both are. And we're going to make sure the truth comes out, no matter how uncomfortable it is for them." 2 days later, Mark Henderson called with an update. "Elias, I've got good news and bad news." "Give me the bad news first." Serena's hired a lawyer. She's going to fight the divorce. And the Caldwells have brought in their own high-powered legal team to try and suppress the financial evidence. They're claiming it was illegally obtained. Is he right? Not even close. You have every right to install security cameras and monitor your own home network. And as for the financial data, your access was legitimate for maintenance purposes. The footage and logs are absolutely admissible, and the financial evidence is damning. They're trying to spin it, but Patricia Walsh is cooperating fully with the authorities, who are now involved in the fraud investigation. What about the work situation? I heard through the grapevine that both Serena and Julian were terminated yesterday for violating company policy and for their involvement in the financial irregularities. Their company has a strict policy against fraternization between employees, and conducting personal relationships during work hours, especially when combined with criminal activity, is grounds for immediate termination. I felt a surge of satisfaction. Really? Really? Apparently, your video presentation and the financial logs were very thorough. Their company, Caldwell Medical Solutions, is now facing a federal inquiry into the fraud. The initial discrepancy alone is estimated at over $500,000, but the potential total is in the tens of millions. They're both unemployed. Both facing a messy divorce proceeding, potentially criminal charges, and both dealing with the social consequences of their actions. And the Caldwells? Their empire is crumbling. Good. The final pieces of my revenge are falling into place. The final piece of my revenge came together the following weekend. Leo called me Saturday morning. Elias, you need to get down to the bite and brew now. Why? What's happening? Julian Vance is here. He's 3 sheets to the wind and running his mouth about you. I was there in 10 minutes. Julian was at the bar, loud and slurring, telling anyone who would listen that I was a psychotic control freak who had ruined his life over nothing. Nothing? I said, walking up behind him. You call 6 months of screwing my wife and orchestrating a multi-million-dollar fraud nothing? He turned around, swaying slightly. Elias, there's the man of the hour. Come to gloat, have you? Julian, you're drunk. Go home. I don't have a home anymore. Thanks to you, I can't afford my apartment. Thanks to you, I don't have a job. Thanks to you, my girlfriend left me. Thanks to you, the Caldwell's empire is crumbling. Thanks to me, Julian. I didn't make you cheat. I didn't make you lie. I didn't make you destroy 2 families. I didn't make you participate in an insurance fraud scheme. That was all you. You set us up. You knew we were coming over that night. I knew because you've been coming over for 6 months. I knew because you're both terrible liars. And I knew about the fraud because you were careless enough to leave digital breadcrumbs all over Serena's laptop and your company's network. The cafe had gone quiet. Everyone was watching our confrontation. You want to know the truth? Julian said loudly. Your wife came to me. She said you were boring in bed, boring in life, boring in every way that matters. That was it. I grabbed Julian by his shirt, a firm grip, pulling him closer to me across the bar. You want to talk about boring? Let's talk about how you're a 34-year-old man who peaked in college. Let's talk about how you have to seduce married women because no single woman will put up with your corporate buzzword bullshit for more than a month. Let's talk about how you're unemployed, facing criminal charges, and universally despised by everyone who knows what you did. I released him and stepped back. You're pathetic, Julian. You were pathetic when you were sneaking around with my wife, and you're pathetic now. He took a swing at me. I ducked easily and watched him stumble past me, crashing into an empty table. Leo, call him a ride share, I said. He's done here. As Julian was helped out of the cafe, still mumbling threats and insults, I realized that my revenge was complete. Serena had lost her job, her family, her reputation, and her future. Julian had lost everything, too. Their affair and their complicity in fraud had cost them more than they could have possibly imagined. The Caldwell's prestigious healthcare group was now under federal investigation, their reputation in tatters, their wealth significantly diminished. I walked out of the Bite and Brew into the cool Seattle night air, feeling lighter than I had in months. Tomorrow, I would start rebuilding my life. Tonight, I was finally free. Maya moved back home the following week. We ordered pizza and watched movies, just the two of us, like we used to when she was little. "Dad," she said during a commercial break. "Yeah, I'm glad you fought back. I'm glad you didn't just let them get away with it." "Me, too, kiddo. Me, too." 6 months later, the divorce was final. I got the house, majority custody of Maya, and most of our assets. Serena got a small settlement and weekend visitation rights. She moved to another state with what was left of her savings. Julian moved back in with his parents, facing mounting legal bills and a tarnished career. The Caldwell Medical Solutions Group was forced to sell off assets to cover fines and restitution, their name becoming synonymous with fraud. I kept the network monitoring tools and the security cameras, not out of paranoia, but as a reminder of the truth. With the settlement money and a renewed sense of purpose, I founded a new tech consulting firm, focused on transparent and ethical data security. Maya, showing a keen interest in cybersecurity, became my first intern, working on a project to develop a public-facing integrity index for businesses. In the lobby of our new, modest office, a sleek digital display now cycles through our company's core values, a testament to transparency and accountability. It was a silent, powerful statement, a symbol that some things, once broken, can be rebuilt, stronger and truer than before. Lessons from this story. Deception and infidelity inevitably lead to severe consequences for all involved. Meticulous planning and evidence are crucial when confronting betrayal and seeking justice. Unethical actions, both personal and professional, can lead to the complete downfall of individuals and organizations. Even after profound betrayal, it is possible to rebuild one's life with integrity and find new purpose.